Emma was an ordinary girl living in a small town. She was quiet, kind, and thoughtful, but often underestimated herself. Whenever faced with a challenge, Emma would whisper, "I can't," before even trying. She believed others were braver, smarter, and stronger, not her. One summer, a devastating storm hit the town. Trees fell, roads flooded, and power lines went down. It was the worst disaster the area had seen in decades. People were scared and confused. Homes were damaged. Some families had nowhere to go. Emma's family was lucky. Their house remained standing, and they had a small generator. But others weren't so fortunate. The local community center, which usually helped in times of need, was in chaos. The manager had been injured, and there was no one to lead the relief effort. Volunteers were waiting, but they needed someone to organize food, shelter, and help for the affected families. Emma stood in the background, watching people argue and panic. She wanted to help, but the old voice in her head whispered, "You're not a leader. You can't do this." She turned to leave, until she saw a little girl crying in the corner, holding a soaked teddy bear. Emma walked over, knelt down, and offered her a warm blanket and a cookie. The girl smiled through her tears. In that moment, something shifted inside Emma. "I may not be the best," she thought, "but I can do something." Emma stood up and addressed the crowd. Her voice trembled at first. "We don't need to wait for someone else. We can organize together. I'll help get things started." People looked surprised, but they listened. She began by creating a list of what the center had: food, blankets, clean water, and what was needed. She formed small teams, one for cooking, one for cleaning, one for gathering supplies. She asked local businesses to donate anything they could. Over the next few days, Emma barely slept. She made calls, comforted children, helped injured seniors, and kept everyone moving forward. Volunteers began calling her the heart of the center. The storm had broken down trees and buildings, but in some strange way, it built something new inside Emma. On the fourth day, a government rescue team arrived. They were impressed with how organized the center was. "Who's in charge here?" they asked. Everyone pointed to Emma. She stepped forward, her clothes stained and eyes tired, but she stood tall. For the first time in her life, she felt something different. Not fear, not doubt. A few weeks later, when life returned to normal, Emma was invited to speak at a town gathering. She hesitated at first, but then she remembered what the storm had taught her. Standing on the stage, she said, "I used to think I was weak, that I had nothing to offer. But when the storm came, I realized something. Strength isn't about being the loudest or the boldest. It's about standing up when it matters, even if your knees are shaking. You are all stronger than you think. I learned that because I had to." The crowd stood and clapped. Her words touched every heart in that room. Moral of the story: we often don't know how strong we are until being strong is the only choice we have. Inside each of us is a power waiting to rise. You just have to believe it's there.